Hi everyone, this is how to do a crystal wave stitch. On my blanket these burgundy rows, so this is 2 rows of crystal wave and then a row of double crochet to help straighten it out and bring it up to height, because with it being a wave stitch it's wavy. Now, it does look different on each side, so you may have a preference. This is my favourite side, I think, with the loops, but it looks like this from the back, a little bit like a bean stitch. It's a lovely textured stitch, makes a really interesting feeling fabric. I've not done multiple rows with changing colour at each time. I'll try that and let you know how it goes. But for this purposes of this, what I've done is I've just kept it the same for each row. So I have changed colour as we normally would, and I'm going to chain 3. Now, this stitch is in multiples of 4. It's one of the stitches that I think would be quite complicated to do if we didn't have the right stitch count. So make sure before you start that you've counted and you're comfortable that you can do it. So once we've chained 3, we're going to flip it, as we'll be working as we normally do. And we're going to put 2 treble crochets in this first stitch. This makes our first, it's not quite a full wave, but sort of 3/4 of a wave. Once we have 2 trebles here, so just as a reminder, trebles, yarn over through the hook and pull through till you have 3 loops, and then it's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 and go into this 4th stitch. And into here, into here we're going to do a double crochet. So just 1 double crochet to join it on. And now we're going to need to build the height of our waves. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and then into this same space you just put the double crochet, we're going to put another 3 trebles. 1, 2, 'Give myself some more yarn, 3. So that's our next crystal wave, and then we go miss 1, 2, 3 into the 4th with a double crochet and chain 3 again to build up our height, and then 3 treble crochets into that double crochet stitch space. So it was 1, 2, 3, and then same again, 1, 2, 3 into the 4th. Oh, I'm going to keep doing this now. I'm going to keep trying to put trebles into it when I actually need to put a double crochet. And then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then on this particular sample that I've got, this will be my last one on this row. 2, 3. And then skipping 1, 2, 3, and in our chain space at the end, we do a double crochet. So that's our first row. It's just basically a wave stitch at the moment. The fancy stuff comes on row 2. So we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and flip. It's very simple to start off with. We're just putting another 2 treble crochets in our first stitch space, which is basically that double crochet stitch we just put in. And for our next one, this is where we get our interesting texture and the look of the stitch from. So we're going to be going into not our normal spaces where we'd normally go in at the top. We're going to do a front post double crochet. So on our stitch, we've got this stitch number 1, stitch number 2, stitch number 3, and then the chain space. We're going to go around this last stitch before the chain space. So we poke our hook through the back and then around the front, so that this sort of pillar of the stitch is on our hook, and then we pull through to do a single crochet. So it kind of joins them together like that. And then we're back to building height and putting our waves in. So chain 1, 2, 3. And then when we do our treble crochets, we're putting them into this chain space. So behind where we've just done our front post double crochet. Yes, double crochet. 1, 2, 3. And so you can see you've got this interesting sort of textured wave, very kinky and wavy across the top. So let's do it again on our next stitch. So skipping this one, going in around this one. So there we go, that's joined on. Chain 1, 2, 3, and then treble crochets into our chain space. 2, 3, and same again. Front post double crochet, chain 3, and then 3 treble crochets in here, two, 3, and then we're gonna do a double crochet at the end into the chain space here to join it on. Now, so this is our crystal wave. You can see it's quite textured using this chunky wool. Wool in my blanket is DK, so it's a little finer, but it's a lovely high texture. Now, when it comes to flattening off these stitches for the top of your blanket to work on your next row, what I did is, because it's quite a big height differential there, so I chained 2 and flipped it, and then put a double crochet into not this first stitch but this one here. So that's yarn over, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then in the rest of them I've put a double crochet, just a normal double crochet. So 1, 2, and then one in the chain space. So basically per wave it's 4 stitches. So it's double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and then last one of this wave in the chain space. And as you can see, that kind of, it's not perfectly flat, but it gives you a much more sort of sensible base to work from. And in my blanket, what I chose to do was straight after my crystal waves on that top row of double crochet, I've done a nice tall stitch because I knew that that would help the length of the or the straight lines of the tall stitch helps it look flatter and straighter. So I've done a double treble as my next one of those, which was also a nice way of building height. All right, hope that helps. Give it a go.